Okay guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video what I'm going to be looking at is the joystick, which is obviously primarily made to be compatible with the A500 Mini and the C64 Mini. But what I've bought it for is to try and test it along with the Evercade VS, along with this new collection that's landed. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at this joystick in action. Okay guys, a quick look at the actual joystick. It's obviously USB compatible. You can use it with Windows, Mac, Linux, or any of these mini consoles, and hopefully the Evercade VS as well. And it's pretty much very similar looking to the actual joystick you get with the C64 Mini itself. It's got all the compatible buttons at the bottom, but let's hope it performs a little bit better, because that joystick that's included is pretty poor. And obviously you can use it in the A500 Mini as well. The A500 Mini comes with a joypad, which is okay, but if you try to reach those diagonals in some games, it's a little bit tricky. There's a quick look at this box as we go around. From Retro Games that make the C64 Mini and the A500 Mini, and also they obviously have a hand in this as well. They're the company that Blaze, I've got the license through for the C64 Collection 1 and 2. Okay, let's get this box opened up and we can have a look at the joystick. You can see the first thing you're greeted with is this, so give me a sec, I'll get this out. Okay, as you can probably tell, it's a clear style joystick, so you can pretty much see everything, see all the circuitry and stuff, so pretty cool. I'll try and take this off so it's not making that racket. So as you can probably tell, the buttons themselves are kind of mushy, which is quite nice. They're all kind of supposed to be micro switched. You can tell the actual joystick itself is quite clicky, but you can manage to manoeuvre through all the sort of diagonals up and down, etc. It seems pretty good. Let's hope it's pretty sturdy. All the other buttons are kind of sort of mushy. But yeah, it seems pretty nice. So what we'll do is we'll get it connected to the Evercade VS. I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have to map the buttons, so we'll go through that process as well. And then we'll try some of the games on the C64 Collection 2 and see how it actually performs, and see if it actually helps make some of the other games a little bit more playable rather than using a D-pad. Okay, got the C64 Collection in the VS. Also, to get started you have to map the controller, so I've left the original joypad in the VS and then connected the joystick to port 2. Now we have to actually map the controller, so I'll try and do that on the screen here and show you what to do before you can actually get started to play the games. Okay guys, hopefully you can see the screen okay. I'm going to try and do this in real time, just so that we can understand it together. So when you first put in the joystick, it doesn't actually recognise, so you actually have to map it. So that means you have to keep in your original joypad that comes with the unit. So I've left that in. As you can see here, I'm just really using the actual D-pad here. Obviously can't really see it very well. I've darkened it down so you can actually see this screen. So what you need to do is use the original joypad and go to System. Obviously go to the settings and System. Obviously got an update to do, but I've not really done it yet. Then go to Map Controller. Now what you need to do at this point is then hold down any button on the controller that you want to configure. Now that is obviously, as you can hear, the joystick, and I'm obviously moving it like crazy, so I'm going to hold down a button and there you go. So just hold down the button and it'll eventually go to this screen. So then you obviously go through the buttons as you would, so up, up, down, left, right. Pretty straightforward so far. Now the A button, that could be tricky. Obviously it's the C64, I'd maybe map it to the left button that's on the bottom of the joystick, and then B is probably the other one. The X and Y probably doesn't really get used as much, but yeah, we're obviously going to be a few buttons out here. There's not enough buttons on this joystick that correspond to what we see on the joypad there, so that's obviously going to be a problem right away. Yeah, Not ideal, but yeah, we'll try or work our way through it. So X and Y, I'm just going to use the 4 buttons at the bottom. So the first one will be X, second one will be Y. L1 and R1, I don't really know. Obviously this isn't ideal, there's not enough buttons on the actual joystick to correspond to what we need, so that's obviously going to be a bit of a problem. So we probably need to be sensible here. Yeah, that's obviously a massive problem. We're about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 face buttons, and if you look at that, we're probably about 3 short, as what you see on the screen there. So that could be a bit of an issue when you're actually playing some of the games. Yeah, not ideal. It might be actually wise to maybe skip some of these buttons. It might actually vary depending on what game you play. So I think for the now, I'm maybe going to skip some of these buttons. Probably use this one and then skip the rest, because I think it's probably more important that you have select and start and probably the menu button attributed to one of the buttons rather than L2, R2. It's going to differ depending on what game you're playing, so obviously that's not ideal at all. Start and select, I'm going to use the buttons that are just above the joystick, the sort of little buttons, I think. Left one start, right one select, and the menu, I'm going to use the menu button. That's the most right button at the bottom of the joystick for the menu button. And that's it. So I've basically unassigned 3 buttons, as you can see there. Not ideal, but there's not really much I can do. There's nothing else I can attribute that to. Yeah, bit of a nightmare. What one was the A button again? To save and apply. That's the circle, I think. A and B. What one's A and B? It's not letting me save it. Oh, do I use the joypad to do it? Yeah. So you use the original joypad to press A, not even the one you've just created the new configuration for. So that's a bit confusing. The new mapping has been applied, so now we can use, yeah, you can probably hear I'm moving this with the actual joystick that we've now got, so that's quite cool. So what we'll do is now is maybe try some of the games, maybe look at some of the ones that are not using every single button, because that could obviously be confusing. Yeah. So what one can we have a look at that's probably a pain to control? Let's have a look. So I'm actually quite keen on trying Mission Impossible, because that's obviously got isometric style and it is a little bit tricky on the sort of joypad to play. So let's have a quick play at that. Obviously can't really see me using this joystick, but you'll certainly hear it. Okay, let's get started. Press fire to select. Now, maybe it might be better actually attributing the buttons round the wrong way, because obviously I'm right-handed, so I'm now pressing the sort of bubbles with my right hand and moving with my left. Yeah, it's probably not ideal. And the actual button controller is not working, so I can't actually move the character. Obviously you can see the firepower is working, but the actual joystick is not moving, and I've obviously attributed all the moves to it, but yeah, not moving. And I wonder if that's actually because the joystick is in port 2 and not port 1. So maybe what we'll do is actually start that. What we'll do is, yeah, none of the buttons are working apart from the fire button. So that's not ideal, is it? So let's quit out of that and we'll swap the joy ports. So that's obviously something maybe need to keep aware of as well. I don't know whether it's because it's in the wrong joy port. Let's switch them about. So put the joystick back into port 1 and the VS, and then put the D-pad into number 2 anyway, just so we have that as backup just in case. So let's try that again. So let's move. So the actual movement is working on the menus, but when we went into the games there, it wasn't working. Could be because it was in the wrong port on the VS. But yeah, let's have a quick play. Let's try that again. And now it's not recognised at all. Fantastic. And whether we have to actually configure it all over again, I don't know. Let's go back out. That's kind of annoying. So it's obviously moving here, but it's not working when you're actually playing the game. Even though it recognises the actual joystick, it's not actually working. Weird. Let's try again. Let's try and map the button once more, just in case. Okay, let's go through this quickly again. Up, down, left, right. Okay, now been remapped, we're going to give Mission Impossible another go. Let's see if this works. So I've got the fire button to the left button now rather than that. So let's hope we can actually move the character. Yeah, here we go. So we're now moving the character. It's very, very noisy. But yeah, the controls definitely work. Obviously it seems... it certainly seems to work quite well. Whether it's better than a D-pad, yeah, it probably is. It seems better for these diagonals. But yeah, it is one noisy controller. But now that it's working, it seems absolutely fine. Actually, this is probably what you would be doing back in the day with a proper joystick. Yep, it's certainly recognising those diagonals a little bit better than you would the D-pad, which is good. So that's definitely one of the problems. Sometimes the D-pad, it's kind of all over the place, especially in games such as Mission Impossible. Yeah, this game is hard as heck. But it's obviously not ideal because not all the buttons are going to be mapped. There might be some games that you need those extra buttons for mapping purposes, but yeah, you might have to get away with it somehow. But it works really, really well, to be honest. I think it's going to be good for some games and not great for others, but we'll maybe play another couple of games and see what it's actually like overall. Because I don't think it's going to be perfect for every single game. Yeah, this game is quite cool, I quite enjoy it. Is it better on the joystick? Maybe. Still a bit of a pain to set up, not ideal. So it took me a couple of goes to get there, but it certainly got there eventually. Yeah, let's sort of jump out of this. So I've attributed the menu button, but it's not actually working. Oh. So yeah, I have attributed the menu button, but it's not actually recognising something. So it's certainly a little bit frustrating. I'm going to have to use the D-pad, the other joypad, to try and get out of this game, which is a bit of a pain. So I've got the keyboard button working, but I can't actually escape the game. Teething troubles, really annoying. So guys, yeah, definitely be aware that you might have some troubles with all the buttons. It's something don't recognise all the buttons even though I've mapped them, which is a total pain. Let's switch this out and we'll try another game. Okay, let's have a quick look at California games. Obviously, this one is going to be tricky as heck. See how easy it is to start an event. Probably not. Enter your name. Let's see. Okay, just put anything in. I don't really care. How loud is that? Yep. Oh. Okay. Half pipe. What one is probably best? Let's try half pipe. So up and down, and the B button, I guess. Let's have a bash. Oh, I'm getting some good height. Oh wow! Woohoo! I have to be honest, I never actually managed to do that on a D-pad before. Still tricky to play right enough, but yeah, I still managed to do some moves that I didn't manage to do on a D-pad. So that's interesting. Let's try another event. I'm still not good at this game though. It's complete, yeah. Let's try, no, footbag's pointless. Surfing maybe? Skating, BMX, skating. Yeah, that one could be interesting to be honest. Let's quickly try skating. Press the B button. Now this one is weird to control. Okay, so press the button to start. Oh, yeah, it definitely is difficult. Oh, no. Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one, to be honest, but yeah. I'm certainly doing things I wasn't doing the D-pad. But no. Nah. It's interesting, that's for sure. I'm certainly doing some of the moves I wasn't doing on the D-pad, so that's got to be a positive. But it's still a tricky game to play though, regardless. Let's try the surfing before maybe move on to one more game. There's no doubt this joystick is loud. It's clicky, it's loud, but it seems to work okay. I think that the main issue is probably actually with the VS and how it's mapping, whether it works or not. It's not necessarily a problem with the joystick. Wait, what am I doing here? Let's try and build up a little bit of speed, up and down, before you try and do some of these waves. Nope. The surfboard wasn't straight into the water there, that's why that didn't work. Let's see if we can get some kind of thing going. Yeah, so we're getting some speed going now. Let's try it. Nope, not fast enough. Let's maybe give it a little bit more before we go. So, these games are still hard. Regardless, these games are still very, very hard. Yay! Is that coincidence? Luck? I don't know. It's certainly making these games a little bit easier to control. But yeah, I'm still rubbish at it. Well, at least we scored a little bit better than normal. Now, I don't think this joystick will be great for every game. Like, Cybernoid has a lot of controls applicated to, if you look down the sort of L1, well, the L1 and R1 button, so yeah, you could maybe get away with this game. But some of the games do use L2 and R2 as well, like Sword of Fargo. You could probably get away with it. It probably wouldn't be a major problem. But you certainly have to be aware that this won't be great for every game. Let's have a quick bash of Cybernoid. This one definitely needs a little bit of intricate gameplay and manoeuvring. But is it better with a D-pad than a joystick? Hard to actually say. Let's see if we can jump to play this game. One thing that's good about these games, there's a lot of great music. Something that the C64 was good at. See, I'm holding down the menu button, and that's what I'm getting. Not really sure what's happening here. Oh, now I don't have music. I don't know what I'm doing at all now. Oh, it's going a bit haywire. Okay, now I think the actual control using the joystick's actually quite good. It seems pretty good to me. But yeah, not entirely sure what's going on. Yeah, I can see I'm pressing the buttons to change between these different items, but yeah, you really need your shields at this point, so I need to figure out what my shields are. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's what one's my shield, so I need to hold down the button to get the shield. Yeah, so I can get past this bit. Yep, that's it. That's actually quite interesting. I've now got rid of the music. You can hear the actual sound effects, which is actually quite nice. Now, how do I get past this bit easy enough? Yeah, I still die just as bad. Now, this one's one where you really need to save state the heck out of it. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh no, nearly done it. And dead. Ah, you miss the music at this point, don't you? Damn. Okay, I'm just gonna look at another game, maybe like Impossible Mission. That's a kind of a platforming game, so let's have a quick bash at that, see how it performs on this joystick, and I'll give you my overall thoughts. Right. Control seems okay. Oh, not sure what's happened there. Ooh, what happened there? I have no idea. I have no idea what happened. He's running really fast now. That's not right, is it? That's kind of funny though. Oh look, he's running normal now. No idea what was going on there. Don't ask. Okay, I think the joystick certainly makes it a little bit awkward at times. I have no idea. Obviously reset the game somehow onto a different sort of starting sequence. Well, the joystick seems to work. I guess it's actually quite good. Takes a little bit of getting used to. Obviously, it's been years since I've really played with a joystick. But yeah, there's obviously a button that kicks in that goes to this screen for some reason. I can't remember what it is, but that's not ideal. So it's not perfect, that's for sure. It certainly works, but it's not perfect. That's basically resetting. That's basically what that's doing. It's resetting the game to a different level. So it's not perfect now. It's going to run a little bit chaotic now. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So now you see, obviously it's reset the game to different sort of style, different level. Which obviously you can do anyway, but it shouldn't really be kicked in by a button I've pressed on this joystick at all. So that's not ideal. This is one tricky ass game. And then I've reset it. I'm not sure what the button is, but it's reset it again. I've only pressed up and that's what's happened. That could be it. Okay guys, so that's the joystick being looked at. It actually performs pretty well, but on the Evercade VS it's a little bit temperamental. It seems to work for some games pretty well. It certainly makes some of the events easier. It's in some instances in California games. It's not perfect, it's not going to be ideal for every single game. There's no doubt about it. Some of the buttons didn't map well, like the menu button. I used this button here for menu and it didn't seem to work, and I've done it a few times and it didn't seem to work. Might need to keep persevering. It might eventually sort of recognise this as a menu button, but obviously there's not enough buttons on this joystick that are, you know, the same as like a joypad. There's more buttons on the joypad, so you have to be selective on what buttons to sort of map onto the joystick. But it certainly seems nice. It is quite loud. And there's no doubt about it, it's very clicky. The buttons and that are fine, but the actual joystick manoeuvring is very loud and jumpy. And I certainly had some issues, especially with Impossible Mission 2. It seemed to be resetting the game when I pressed up, which was a little bit annoying. So there's certainly a little bit of work needed done there. Yeah, this joystick cost £20 from Amazon, and it's obviously meant for the C64 Mini. I would say it's definitely a better joystick than the one that's included with the C64 Mini. That one is really stiff and it's absolutely useless. This is definitely an improvement. You can also use it with the A500 Mini as well. If you don't like the D-pad, this might be a better option for some of the games. And they're like, I can think of a few that's probably better for rather than the actual D-pad. But yeah, that is what it is. It's not perfect. It's pretty good. I think it certainly needs a little bit of work towards the Evercade. It needs a little bit of tweaking here and there. But it's certainly an option if you want to play your C64 games using an old style joystick. This is a decent enough option. It works pretty well. Anyway guys, that's my opinions. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.